Rachel Zegler lost her mind after her wokeness was crushed by none other than South Park. They took aim at Disney's latest attempt to push their so-called woke agenda.
Eric, Matt, I had a dream that I was replaced by a diverse woman.
Oh, not again.
Yeah, only this time, it wasn't just me. They were taking all my favorite people and replacing them with diverse women complaining.
Honestly, nobody's surprised. South Park is best known for calling out the absurdities of woke culture. And Disney's recent stunt with their Snow White remake practically had a target on it. But it looks like Rachel Zegler, Disney's chosen Snow White, isn't laughing. Word on the street is that she's not just upset. She's fuming over the parody and all the backlash surrounding her role. South Park aired an episode called Into the Pandaverse. The title alone tells you everything you need to know. In classic South Park fashion, they didn't hold back. They gender and race-swapped beloved characters like Cartman, Stan, Butters, and Kenny into adult women of color. It was an obvious jab at what Disney's been doing lately. Reworking classic stories, swapping characters, and throwing tradition out the window to appeal to a modern audience. But the satire didn't stop there. It was a full-blown roast of everything people have been criticizing about Disney's recent remakes. Let's talk about Snow White. The casting of Rachel Zegler, who is Latina, sparked a lot of debate, especially since the original Snow White was literally named for having skin as white as snow. But what about Rachel? Now it's become a big issue. Fans raised concerns that the connection just doesn't make sense anymore. And honestly, they're not wrong. However, it's not just the casting that has people rolling their eyes. Disney has decided to overhaul the story entirely, stripping away key elements that made it a beloved classic. Romance. The prince. Practically erased. The 7 dwarfs. Say goodbye to them. It's almost like Disney is trying to make the story unrecognizable on purpose.
Little person, one person with dwarfism, and now they're just completely cut. There will be no dwarf actors at all working on this film, and in a live action, which means we're supposed to translate from animation to real life.
Rachel Zegler hasn't exactly helped her case with fans. In interviews, she has been called out for sounding dismissive and entitled about her role. She's made it clear she's not a fan of the original story, describing it as outdated and problematic. In one interview, she even joked about snacks on set being apple-flavored, as if that were some kind of personal attack. Really, Rachel? That's what we're focusing on. It's no wonder fans are frustrated. They feel like she's trashing a cherished fairy tale to push a new version that doesn't feel like Snow White at all. Now here's where it gets even messier. Rachel's comments about the prince raised more than a few eyebrows. She hinted that romance is no longer part of the story, saying, "It's not about the love story at all." She even joked about the possibility of cutting all his scenes. Whether or not she was being serious, the tone rubbed people the wrong way. Fans aren't just upset about the changes. They're upset about how those changes are being framed, as if the original story was somehow wrong or inferior. And don't even get me started on the 7 dwarfs. Disney didn't just tweak them, they completely changed the concept. The original story was built around Snow White's connection to these characters, and now everything related to it is gone. It's another example of how far Disney is willing to go to rewrite its classics, and people aren't accepting it at all. If you're going to remake a generational film, shouldn't the goal be to honor its legacy, not erase it? Timeless values that we all loved shouldn't be rewritten just for the sake of modernization.
Values that we all loved growing up that are sadly being forgotten in this new adaptation. I also don't know who is more excited, this guy or me, because the way he was bouncing in that video was absolutely insane. But somebody said, who's playing Snow White, Ben or Brett? I can't even tell. Never heard that joke before.
This isn't the first time Disney has faced backlash for these kinds of changes. Just look at The Little Mermaid. Casting Halle Bailey as Ariel sparked a wave of controversy, but that film still managed to retain much of its original charm. In The Little Mermaid's case, fans ranted about the casting, but the story stayed true to its roots. Unfortunately, that's not the case with Snow White. With so many drastic changes, fans feel like Disney is pandering to an agenda instead of creating something authentic. And when you add Rachel's tone-deaf interviews into the mix, it makes the situation even more unacceptable for fans. Of course, South Park saw all of this and capitalized on it. They've always had a knack for holding up a mirror to society's absurdities, and Into the Panderverse is no exception. By race and gender swapping their own iconic characters, South Park took the satire to a whole new level, showing just how ridiculous some of these decisions can be when taken to the extreme. And let's be real, South Park doesn't care whose feelings they hurt. Disney isn't the first to feel their sting, and they definitely won't be the last. It's no secret that South Park has a long history of targeting Disney. But this latest Panderverse episode feels like it was tailor-made to critique the studio's current direction. While it mocks plenty of studios for pandering to woke audiences, it's crystal clear that Disney, and specifically the Snow White remake, was the center of their focus.
About Snow White. How they're gonna sum that up and fix, I have no idea. Please, please, please don't make it something where she's like asking him, or like it's her. She's the one who actually makes the kiss happen in the end. I don't know.
Why did South Park's satire cut so deep? By exaggerating these moves into the Panderverse, they showed how hollow it feels when studios prioritize superficial changes over genuine storytelling. Casting Rachel as Snow White feels less like an inspired choice and more like a marketing gimmick designed to earn diversity points. And instead of winning over fans, it turned into a PR nightmare, with Rachel herself being ridiculed and fans of the classic tale completely turned off. But this isn't South Park's first rodeo when it comes to roasting Disney. Back in 2022, they aired The Streaming Wars, which also poked fun at the entertainment giant. Let's not forget their attack on Star Wars after Disney acquired it, or even their infamous portrayal of Mickey Mouse in past episodes. Disney isn't just a frequent target. They're practically a recurring character in South Park's universe of satire. Rumors say Disney isn't thrilled about South Park's trolling. Some reports suggest they're trying to talk things out with the show's creators to prevent more episodes like this from airing. It's easy to see why. Disney has built its empire on carefully crafted public perception, and South Park's unfiltered critique is a direct hit to their business model. If you thought Mickey Mouse being mocked was bad, this Panderverse episode might just be their most brutal takedown yet.
Kindness and friendship and inner beauty versus vanity and romance, for Pete's sake, because apparently that's missing in 2023. Weird. Also, speaking of the source material, many people were asking online.
At the end of the day, this isn't about woke propaganda promotion. It's about respecting the stories people love. Snow White's adventure was iconic for a reason, and her love story was a central part of that. By removing it entirely, Disney isn't making the story more modern. They're stripping away what made it resonate in the first place. Fans aren't asking for a carbon copy of the past.